Hey there, welcome to Coaching with Tally. We're in a series all about uncovering the masterpiece that you already are. So I have some questions for you. Do you want to have more confidence? That when you walk in a room, you just feel grounded, you feel connected to who you are, you feel confident being in any situation with anybody, meeting new people, just walking in confidence. Do you want to have a greater impact in the world? Do you want to have a capacity, an increased capacity to have really beautiful, healthy relationships in your life? Do you want to deeply enjoy the life that you're living? All of these things are completely rooted in your ability to know and to love who it is that you've been made to be, who you are. And we are in a series right now all about uncovering the masterpiece that you already are. Getting you into a place that's aligned, that is flowing out of this place of knowing and loving you. And so I hope you join me. We've been in it for this last week. We're going to be in it again this week, and just deepening this, giving you practical, tangible tools that you can integrate into your life on a daily basis that's going to deepen this place of confidence for you, that's going to have you living out of a place of self-worth, that is going to increase your ability to impact the world, to develop beautiful, deep relationships, and to love your life. My name is Tally. I'm a life and personal development coach, and I work with leaders to create lives of overflowing impact in the world that are centered in a place of joy. Really, it's all about getting you leaders aligned to who it is you most truly are, get you firing on all cylinders. We look at every important area of life and get you living a life that you love, getting you to a place where you overflow out of that place, having created a life that you love so that you can have a beautiful impact on the world. So that's what I do. I do it through private coaching and group coaching. I facilitate a mastermind and I lead retreats, and I'm getting ready to launch a community here sometime probably in the fall, getting all the technology working, but more on that as we go. So today, all about creating and developing this place of confidence in yourself, living out of the masterpiece that you have been designed and created to be. So what it is that you speak to yourself and about yourself really, really matters. We're going to talk about the power of affirmations today. And while that can seem kind of like just love yourself and kind of woo-woo, it's not. It's actually grounded in neuroscience. What we say to ourselves, what we say about ourselves actually has a massive impact on the way that we live out our life and the way that our level of enjoying, our capacity to enjoy life. How we feel about who we are makes a huge difference in how we show up in the world. So I want to talk about the power of affirmation today. We're going to talk a little bit about the neuroscience behind it, why it's so important to know you, to love you, talk about the core longings that those things are rooted in, why it matters, and we're going to give you an activation today, something that you can take with you tangibly to begin integrating into your life that really will make a huge difference. So it's actually a stretch that I gave to one of my clients this morning, and a challenge that I'm putting out there for this week, that anybody who wants to join my client and I in this challenge, I invite you to do it. So I'll tell you about that at the very end. So it's important to know and love who it is you are. You know, you are the only person who has been with you your entire life, and you're the only person who will be with you for the rest of your life. So you getting really, really connected to this place of nurturing, fostering, having your own back, being your biggest cheerleader, it's a really big deal. And when you do that, you hold a lot of power over your own life rather than giving it out to all these people who you're looking to have your core longings met from. So some of the core longings, we've talked about this in more detail in other videos, but some of the core longings, like your need for love, your need for comfort, your need for affirmation or approval, your need for significance and security, your need for a sense of belonging and feeling a sense of worth. All of those things, you definitely will get some of those needs met from other people. But if you are clear that that is something that you need and you can take some responsibility for having that need met, then you're not waiting for somebody else to give you like an affirmation about the fact that you're worthy, that you have the capacity to be really lovable, that you are already approved and significant and that you actually can secure a lot of those things in your own heart. So taking responsibility to have a lot of those needs met internally, inside of yourself, is really significant. And the reality is, it is our responsibility to teach other people how it is we want to be loved. It's your job to train people how to love you. And when you love you, then you model that for other people, and they get how it is you want to be treated. So if you have very low self-worth, if you don't think much of yourself, you will actually block love that other people are trying to give you. You won't believe it. So it'll come in and you'll sabotage it. It'll come in and you'll disregard it. It'll come in like genuinely people trying to show love and kindness to you. And if you don't think that that's true of you, you will not believe it, and you'll find ways to sabotage or disregard it. So you doing this work around increasing your own sense of self-worth, the ability to love yourself well, is massive in your capacity to be loved by other people too. It's almost like if you imagine a bucket. I think I've given this analogy before on one of these lives, but if you imagine a bucket and it has like holes around some level, when that level gets to where the holes are, it starts draining out. So if your self-love is, let's just say it's halfway full. Let's say the container that you've got, it's about half capacity. So you love yourself some, but there's also a lot of room to grow. And if somebody comes along and tries to pour in more than half, it's just gonna leak out. Like you can't contain it. You won't be able to accept, receive, really let those things in because you don't believe it about you. So it is really significant for all of us to be doing this work of increasing our own sense of self-love, our own sense of worthiness. And, you know, we all have wounds. We all have things where we've been hurt in life, and, you know, it's come in and created holes around the container of love. Let's just say our container of love. And so our ability to go in and do the healing work of patching those holes and allowing our container to hold more is really, really significant. It really is. And until we do that, we will always be looking outside of ourselves to, like, somebody tell me how worthy I am. Somebody tell me how lovable I am. We're going to be looking outside of ourselves. And then even if we get that thing we're asking for, we won't be able to hold it. So super important for us to do our own work, to do the healing, to raise our own capacity, increase our own capacity for self-love through healing. I'm going to give you a tangible way to do that. I do want to tell you, though, a little bit about the neuroscience. So there's MRI evidence that suggests that certain neural pathways, specifically in our prefrontal cortex, are increased when we practice self-affirmation. So it's really, really fascinating. But when you give yourself affirmation, when you speak kind things about and to yourself, you actually are rewiring places in your brain, and it brings healing and it increases your capacity for all the things that we've talked about. So if you want to be super specific, it's called the ventromedial prefrontal cortex. That's involved in our positive valuation and self-related information. This is a study that was done through Falk in 2015 and Cascio in 2016. So just super interesting. And there's a lot of neuroscience that's coming in around how we talk to ourselves, how we talk about ourselves, what we think about ourselves, and how that impacts our living out in the world. It's really, really fascinating stuff. But there are things that you can do that are really tangible, that are actually very simple, that will actually be rewiring your brain. Super, super amazing. So self-affirmation has been demonstrated to lower stress, to decrease self-deteriorating stress in our body. And there's so much linked from the stress that we carry and the things that we believe to our physical health. So it's really massive, even in increasing your health. I didn't even list that as one of the things, but that's true as well. So it's our job to teach people how to love us, and a lot of that is done through modeling. So when you love you, when you have a wonderful respect for yourself, you model to other people what you will and won't accept. And that's huge. I mean, often modeling, like our parents modeling for us things, is how we've learned so much. So they taught us a lot of things verbally, but the most powerful, that whole phrase of more is caught than taught, our modeling of how we treat ourselves, how we treat our body, how we talk to ourselves, how we talk about ourselves, tells people, gives them a lot of subliminal cues about how we want and expect to be treated. So really, really beautiful to be leaning into this for yourself. And as you do the work of affirmation, as you speak kindly to yourself, as you speak well about yourself, you're going to increase your own sense of self-love. You're going to increase your ability to give and receive love and worth and sense of security and affirmation and approval and significance and all of those things. It's really, really significant. So one way that you can practice this, and it's okay if you feel silly doing it at first. It's totally cool. Just I encourage you to keep leaning in. This is something you can do for literally 15 seconds a day. So step one, find a time when you know you're going to be in front of the mirror, whether it's brushing your teeth or shaving or putting on makeup, or some time that you're going to be in front of a mirror every day. Step two, get a Post-it note and put on there, reminder, self-affirmations. So just put it on your mirror because it'll trigger you to remember to do this. Number three, for some amount of time, every day for the next 7 days, I want you to take time to look at yourself in your own eyes in the mirror and say some things that are kind. The reality is we are so regularly doing this inner critic, self-beat up. We just have these very negative messages. If you ever took time to write down the things that you say to and about yourself, and you wrote them in a letter, you write your name at the top, you wrote those things out in a letter and you were to read it, you'd be like, holy cow, what the heck? That is so mean. And yet we're constantly barraging our brain and our body with these negative, disempowering messages. If you were to write those things down and you were to send it to somebody else, it would be so abusive, honestly. We just say things. We are unkind to ourselves when we do something wrong, when we make a mistake, when we fall short, when we mess up. It's like this inner critic is just blah, and we think that it's motivating, but it actually long term is really decreasing your capacity for so many things that you really want in life. And so these mirror affirmations, I really want to encourage you every day, and I don't care if it's just a few seconds, if it's 10 seconds or whatever, maybe you can increase the time as you go, but for the next 7 days, so today is Thursday, for the next 7 days, whatever day it is that you're seeing this video, put it on your calendar. So daily affirmations, put a Post-it note on your mirror. I encourage you to do it right now if you can. If you're near a mirror that you're going to see, put it on the mirror. And every day, look at yourself, really look in your eyes. Be kind to yourself, soften into this place of gentleness and kindness and affirmation. And really feel into, what is it that I need to know right now? What is it that my heart needs to hear? Because there's an inner child in there. There's a young part of you that didn't get something that you needed. And this is a chance for you to actually speak right into that place. Maybe it's, I will always be here for you. I will never leave you. I will always have your back. I love the way that you're learning and growing. I love some beautiful aspect of your personality. I love the way that you make people laugh. I love the way that you have a kind heart. I love the way that you never give up. I love the way that you take things that have happened to you and use them to make you stronger. I love, the way that you're learning and growing and leaning in. I love that you're seeing me. I love that you're taking the time to see me. I love that you're being kinder to me. Whatever it is that is going to be an affirmation, that the thing that your heart needs to hear. What is it? What are the things that you love, enjoy, appreciate about yourself? And just really take the time to speak those things to yourself. I did this in a workshop, 2.5 years ago. There was a part of the workshop where at the very beginning, everybody had a mirror. I got a mirror for everybody in the room, and I just played music and gave them time to look at themselves in their own eyes and notice what was coming up. And I was just kind of prompting some different things, reflection, and letting them just look in their own eyes. And then we did, 3 hours worth of activities and engaging, interactive experientials, and at the very end had them look in the mirror again and just notice the difference after they really let a lot of this love in, after they did some of the work of seeing the masterpiece that they already are. And it was beautiful, and they wrote affirmations on the mirror, and that was a gift to them to take. And even 2.5 years later, I'm still getting people that will run into me and say, I still look at my mirror every single day. I still read those affirmations that I wrote on the mirror. I still look in my own eyes and speak words of kindness over myself. And it's so powerful. So I encourage you to try this out, especially if you've never done it before. And if you haven't done it for a while, lean into this exercise with me. I'm going to be doing it. I have clients that are doing it, and just notice the impact that it makes on you. Know that it is rewiring your brain. Know that it is stepping you into more confidence. Know that it is opening you up for greater capacity for healthier relationships, that it's going to cause you to make a bigger difference in the world because you're rooted in this place of confidence and self-worth and connection to the masterpiece and the gift that you are. So hopefully this is a support to you. I will be back every day talking more about this topic, giving you really tangible, practical things that you can do. If this is a support for you, I really encourage you to like this, to share it with somebody that you really love, that you want to share this with, that you want to make a difference for. So blessings. If you haven't heard it yet today, you are so loved and you are a beautiful gift. Keep shining.